So the main question that everyone's asking out there is, do I need you both? Right, Brian?
Yeah.
And so today I sit down with Brian Winkler with Pursuit Lending Group, and then I'm Ethan Rebuck with Cutler Real Estate. There are so many different humans that buyers interact with in the process of buying either their first home or, say, their forever home.
Yeah.
But the first two people that they're going to interact with are either going to get synced up with a loan officer or that real estate agent. And so I'm sure that is, what's looming on every buyer's head is, who do I talk to first?
Yeah.
Why do I need you both in the beginning? So let's dive into that today.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, your team is important. Agent and lender need to get along. If they don't get along, we're going to have some issues.
Yeah.
And that you'll see that out there. I mean, there are some situations where they don't get along and it causes problems. So, yeah, number one thing is lender, agent, make sure that they're compatible, they work well together, they communicate well. If you don't communicate between the two of them, it's going to be a struggle. So,
right.
Do those interviews, talk to 2 or 3 lenders, talk to 2 or 3 agents.
Yeah.
And make sure that they're on the same page, that, hey, we have to have that relationship regardless of who the lender is. Those two have to get along.
Yeah. And a majority of buyers are coming to the real estate agent first, right? That's the one they know, and then they're getting connected to the loan officer. Yeah. So on, that dynamic, just making sure that it works. Like, I think the biggest thing is communication, right? And then when it comes down to it, it's how cohesive you work, right? Like you said, when it comes to dealing with the listing agent, and how can you butter her up or him up to be able to win that offer? What different strategies does that agent and loan officer do together to get the deal closed?
Yeah, and that's where I think if the agent and the lender are working well together, when we prove someone, first calls to the agent or the client to let them know what they qualify for, what the numbers look like. They're okay with those numbers. Depending on how much cash they have, they're going to need the seller to ask. They're going to need to ask the seller for concessions, and then immediately that next phone call is to the agent. Here's everything we talked about, and sometimes it's to the agent like, "Hey, wink, wink. I didn't tell you this, but this is kind of, I think, going to be their struggle. You might want to, that way everybody's on the same page, and it makes the agent look a little better because they know something they probably shouldn't know. So they're, but if you're not communicating that, you could be making offers and it might not be the offer that really works. So it's huge, man. It's really big.
Yeah, and when it becomes behind the scenes on, my forefront, it's, going to houses and maybe they like a house, but they're not sure because of the price. Yeah. Well, that's where I say, okay, reach out to Brian. Have him go over the numbers with you if you're worried about it. I know you're not going to get exact, but, maybe that ease of mind and peace that you can give them will be able to make them feel better about that situation they're going into. Yeah. So sometimes it just takes more than just me, the real estate agent, who really shouldn't be talking finances, to, push them off to you and say, look, he's going to handle it. And then get a second set. I can say, oh, this house is beautiful. I think it's worth what it is. Yeah. And then you can say, this is what you're paying for it. Yep. You can validate it by looking it up too and saying, this does look like a great first home. So between showings and, the offers, right, what can you do? Can you do conventional? Can you do FHA?
Yep.
So those are huge standpoints from the lending side. Is, do you have options? Yeah. I've met lenders who they can't do FHA or VA. Yeah. And so, that's a great quality that you're able to, be dynamic. You're able to use these state, grants to help out those buyers.
Yeah. And you, as a buyer, you don't want me telling you what a good offer is on a house.
Right.
Well, do you think I should offer this? You call Ethan. I'll tell you what your numbers are. I'll tell you what your limits are. Okay. If you can give me, pretty much the last thing I tell my clients when I do the pre-approval for them is, I'm not the 9-to-5 guy. So if it's Saturday and you see a house and we want to tighten up these numbers, I need the address. I can pull up the taxes. We'll guess a little bit on the insurance. But, yeah, I'll be able to give you an idea within an hour, what that payment's going to look like. Doesn't mean it's a good idea. Doesn't mean that's a good offer. That goes back to your agent. Talk to your agent. Make sure that that's a good offer. I can't tell you that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where the team thing,
right,
back and forth. I don't disappear just because you're looking at houses. You don't disappear just because we're talking numbers.
Yeah.
We all need to be on the same page. So again, if you're interviewing agents, make sure that you're talking to your agent about their lender or the lender that you're working with, and that they're willing to work with them and communicate that, because it's just going to make the process so much easier.
Oh, absolutely. And when you look at that team like dynamic, right, just making sure that communication is clear. I like to tell every buyer when I meet them that I don't like to get into the numbers, but, or hear about their personal financial situation.
Sure.
But ultimately, whenever you're working in a transaction, you're going to hear some of that. And as uncomfortable as that is we're all on the same team here trying to get you across the finish line.
Sure. And some people don't remember, if I tell them if they've got, say, 10 grand to play with, but they're going to need 15, if you didn't know that, you're not asking for 5 in concessions, and say you ask for 2, client may have forgotten, or they don't quite understand what's happening. Next thing we know, we're short 3 grand, and then everything falls apart. So sometimes letting everybody know, like, hey, 5 grand, you need to be asking at least 5, or this thing ain't going to work. The clients will forget. If it wasn't for mortgages, but I'm doing other things, I'm dumb when it comes to other stuff. So I get it, So got to have the communication from day one. Have to have it.
I mean, you talk about it. You talk about jargon, right?
Yeah.
If I walk into a computer shop, if I walk into an attorney office, sometimes I don't know what the heck they're saying. All right. And that's the point of these experts, right? You can buy your house on your own. You can represent yourself. Probably not going to save any money because the listing agent's just going to pocket it. But you can save that money. But the thing is, why we use professionals in everyday life for their services is for what they know and how they're able to influence different situations. Right. So I know that there's a bad, rep out there for real estate agents. Even loan officers, I'm sure, don't have the best rep. Hey, they're just here to make money. But I will tell you, you could say that about any industry, and say that these salespeople are bad or this, that, and the other. But there is a point for them. And if you're in a sales field, you should understand that as well.
100%. And again, just because someone says they're professional doesn't mean they are.
Right.
Too. And that's where, looking up reviews and asking people for their referrals and kind of interviewing is a good idea.
Just look at their TikTok. That's your interview.
Yeah, I don't have one, so don't do that.
I was like, don't look at my TikTok. I mean, maybe there is some bad stuff on there.
But no, I mean, get a feel for it. Don't just because someone says they're an agent or just because they say they're a lender. There's some really, just like anything. There's bad attorneys and there's bad doctors and there's bad loan officers and there's bad agents. So do a little bit of research. Just because mom's friend Cindy's cousin says she's an agent doesn't mean she's any good. Unless
you're my mom's friend's sister's cousin, Cindy. Yeah. No, I mean, you're absolutely right. When it comes down to it, you can be a bad agent and still be super successful. Yeah. You can be a bad loan officer and still be super successful. And that is how the world works. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be great at your job. No. Sometimes people, or sometimes agents, or even I feel like loan officers, you could say the same thing, when they think about it too much, when they put too much emphasis on it, you can get lost, right?
Well, people outthink themselves a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you could overdo it. But yeah, life isn't fair. There are some really bad agents out there. There's some really bad lenders who are very successful, and they shouldn't be. But, that's how the world turns, man. Not everything's fair.
Right. So we know, I mean, we've worked together, and it's been great. Looking at your career when it comes to working with other agents, let me know about, like, a story that, like, something that just went crazy, and you're going to have to dig back so we don't get anyone in trouble. But
no,
don't use names.
No, this is good because there was a deal in Michigan. So
okay.
I don't remember the agent's name.
Screw him.
The agent had screwed up. It was a VA deal, I think, and we needed a pest inspection.
Okay.
The agent knew that, but the agent forgot. And we're 2 or 3 days before closing. We still didn't have it.
Yeah.
And the agent tried to turn everything around on us. Like, we were the problem. We didn't do this and we didn't do that.
Right.
Deal winds up closing. I think we only had to extend a day or two. No big deal. My client, who was foreign, didn't speak the greatest English.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, this very negative review popped up on our website with perfect English, blasting us because we didn't inform the agent. After the closing, used my client's name to do
Yeah.
a review. So you talk about not communicating, not having a good relationship there. That's probably the worst. I've never seen anything like it. I had to laugh at it actually when it came in because I knew it wasn't the client. I even called the client, and they're like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Right.
This agent stole my client's identity basically to leave a bad review because of a stupid pest inspection. That's probably the worst one I've had.
So they messed up and they took it out on you.
Oh yeah, which is normal. Title companies do it to us all the time. That's fine.
Right.
We get it.
Yeah, I like when it comes to like some of those bad stories, like I think a lot revolve around title because they just do things that are silly. But lenders, when it comes to working with national institutions, local credit unions aren't the biggest thing. Like, they're 9 to 5, which is not ideal, but working with companies like Rocket Mortgage and big lending institutions, you get lost that personable touch, the communication, even though they try to, still instill it. And in the end, they just end up ripping off their clients. So, I don't work with them because I refer them, but when a client comes to me and says they have Rocket Mortgage and they're very set on that and don't want to shop it around, okay, well, this is what you want, we'll go this route. And I've had deals go very smooth with large institutions, and I've also had them go, up and down and viewing here and there. But, it all boils down to communication, like you said, right? If we can keep communication straight, I'm about as, good as we go, right? Obviously, the second to that is, is my client getting ripped off or not, which typically they're not. If they are, then you just got a big problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, communication is huge.
Yep.
And keeping everyone in line that way. So.
Yeah, to me, it boils down to the individual loan officer, individual agent, regardless of who you work for. I've had clients who swear by their Rocket Mortgage loan officer, and I ain't stepping on their toes. That's fine. But it really just that individual, So we could hire somebody as a loan officer and not know them all that well, and they could suck, So then Pursuit Lending Group has this stigma of, well, they're awful because of that one person. So it's the individual who needs to communicate. The company backing them up is a big deal,
right?
But the communication from that individual.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I don't think that many people know that in the industry or even the outside world. I think real estate and the different parties that are involved, employed in it, people don't understand it.
No.
So like brokerages, like they might think like you're hiring that broker, which technically you are, and that you're working with a broker from that agency because you believe in that brokerage. Yeah. And then back in the day, that might have been more of a universal thing. No. But nowadays, you're hiring a person, right?
Yep.
You're not hiring that company.
Yep.
So that company behind them is all great and flashy, but every brokerage is the same. Yep. And I tell buyers and sellers, every brokerage is the same. They just want the money from the agents.
100%.
They're going to take that money in. They're going to say, good to go. Yep. Here's the CRM. Here's these tools. Realistically, they might have a program that works with you, but if there's anything I know about real estate, if there's a program that offers to give you some sort of incentive, money, grant, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, everything costs money.
Yeah.
They'll basically go out and make me money. Don't break the law, but go out and make me money. That's kind of all they care about. So then it really does boil down to that individual person that you're working with. And you got the two. You got the lender, you got the agent. Make sure they're working together. Make sure they're willing to work together.
Right.
Because we do see that a lot, too, because in our world, we have the Zillow co-marketing things and the Realtor.com co-marketing things. So sometimes a client of mine, I'll pre-approve them, then they'll go find an agent, or they already have an agent, or it's a friend. Basically, we're not together yet. And sometimes that agent may be getting Zillow marketing dollars from another lender. And that agent sometimes will still hound that client, like, I need you to use this guy because this guy's paying me. Yeah. And then they won't work well with us. And it's just kind of a struggle. So you just got to, maybe ask your agent, even if you want to use this lender, do you work specifically with a lender? And are you okay not using that lender?
Yeah.
Is that going to cause any problems? And if they hesitate, maybe
which is very
find
like
another
illegal.
agent, yeah.
Like that's like,
Oh, it's illegal. But
and I want like consumers to know that, like how much actually happens behind the scenes. And you know, your title agency's getting paid, your lender, you know, they're all paying into it. Like there can be some real shady things that happen behind the closed doors. And if an agent, if a lender is pushing you towards a certain individual beyond like just saying, hey, I think this person's great, reach out to them, see if it fits. I think that's a great way to introduce. When it's like, hey, this is my lender,
you got to use them.
go apply.
We don't market other states. We're in, I don't know, 16 states. We don't market there. We're in these other states where our clients that we've had over the years, if they move there or they've got a brother there or whatever it is. But when we're doing a deal out of state, it's amazing that our clients are very loyal to us. They tell us everything.
Yeah.
But these agents, the things that they do to try to get them away from us, they're not local. They're awful. Or call my guy, and my guy will give you $1,000 off of this and that. Like, they're really aggressive sometimes because they're getting paid by that lender. They want that money to stay in. So I understand why they want to do that, but it's unethical. It's just unethical.
Oh yeah,
in my opinion.
and that's everything in our business. It's kind of scary, you know, how much you can get caught up into it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and it seems to turn out like I work with a lot of sphere of influence, so people like, you know, friends, family, their referrals and all that. Yep. They do seem to be very loyal people to almost a fault. Yep. Whereas I've seen some other transactions where I'm just looking at the other side and seeing the seller and the listing agent or the buyer and the buyer's agent, and they don't mesh. And you, in real estate, with a transaction that can be as tricky and as defeating, you have to get along with the people you're dealing with. And if you're not, then walk away. That's why I open every, you know, buyer's consultation, seller consultation by saying this is not going to be easy. We might, you know, incur some road bumps, but we're going to navigate them.
Yeah, you're going to hit road bumps. If it's a perfect transaction, there's still always going to be something that goes wrong there. So, yeah, so you don't want to add road bumps because your lender and your agent hate each other or you know, and somebody's not communicating something, which is just silly. It's silly. So,
and I tell people, like, we're not the bad guys. Like, I want you to sell it. I want you to buy more than probably anyone. Correct. I mean, we have time. We have money invested. You know, I don't get fed or paid until you get paid, or get your house. So, you know, although that can, you know, be like a whole salesy, like, you know, how many can I get closed as quick as possible? That's not what it is. It's just I want to see you win.
Yeah, if you're doing everything right, you're going to close deals, and you're going to have big months, and you're going to do those things. But I forget what I was going to say.
I mean, if you have those big months, you're going to be spending a lot, though, too. That's what people don't realize.
I did long ago and got in trouble with that. So
oh, really?
I spent it too much. But yeah, I mean, the perfect, smoothest transaction is always going to have something that goes wrong. Hopefully, it's just a minor little blip, and it's not a big deal. So yeah, having that team together, man, is so important.
Yeah, and something there's nothing you can do. Like on our front, there's nothing you can do. On the seller or buyer's front, there's nothing you can do. It's just, you know, when I talk to people, and it's great that we're talking about this topic right now, like a team, because there's far many like, or a lot more, you know, people involved in this transaction. They're all humans, right? So you're dealing with humans, and so many of them that if one person doesn't communicate quick enough, doesn't do this thing the right way, it could derail the whole transaction. And that is why it's so important to have your solid people in there, you know, to keep you grounded.
Well, the old saying, you're as strong as the weakest link.
Yeah.
That one link, you may have 6 links in the transaction, and one of them screws up, everything falls apart.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's important.
Yeah. So, you know, as everyone knows, this, you know, in this whole transaction, whether you're buying, whether you're selling, whatever it is, you know, you're not just picking the person, the people involved in it. You are picking a team and working with a team. And so, you know, if you need that team, we're here for you, and we'd be happy to help.
100%.